It is part 6 of the Reliquary build. And last time we were looking at putting these gemstones into these sockets. However, I am not a fan of this color. The more I look at it, the more it displeases me. And you know what? These turned out not very clear either, so I know I can do better. So, as an experiment, I did try to save them. I tried adding some nail gloss to the top of them to kind of give them more of a shine, and to a certain degree, it worked. This one, I think, was my first attempt. Added a ton of air bubbles, so that was bad. This one turned out better, obviously. However, you know what? It's just the overall color. It doesn't have that like ruby red that I truly want, so we're just gonna print them again. When it comes to Yorick here, printed perfectly. Quality is excellent. The orbs have very little print lines on them. However, I'm still not a fan of the color, so you know what that means. Coming back to the body here, here is another weird issue that I ran across. So I would almost say that I didn't clean this properly, although I freaking scrubbed this thing really good. Like, I don't know why it's so glossy. It has tons of like weird air bubbles on it and stuff like that. And when we get up to like this piece, it looks like it's like half melted. I don't understand what happens. I have weird errors all over the place. I've never had this bad of a result when I printed. For example, like here's the other body. Look how clean it is in comparison. I don't know what happened. So, you know what that means. So those are all going to take another basically 12 hours to print. Was that like a freaking ghost orb I just saw float by me? Huh. All right, where you at, you spooky piece of shit? So with all the ghosties chased away, we're going to go ahead and work on the reservoir next because I can't do anything else until I, get things printed. So it's time for some gooping. So this first goopin has been sat for about 2 weeks now, so I know it's fully cured, so we're going to move on to the motor. So the motor came with this silicone ring that fits perfectly on the cap there, but that means it's going to need 2 layers of silicone. First is going to go on the inside of this crevasse that's on the outer side that I just noticed something. This has holes in it. Interesting. Okay, looking at it, I don't think it's going to be an issue. So just so it doesn't leak on the table, I'm going to tape the back ends here with some painter's tape or something simple because the ring itself lays in there, so that should be all solidified and good. It shouldn't leak out the side. So I got basic principle is still the same. First layer of goop, press down, make sure it's nice and snug. Second layer of goop along the inside of the rings, put it on the top, clamp it down so it doesn't go nowhere, and bim bam boom, we have sealed the overall reservoir and it will be ready to add liquid to it. And for those of you who are considering the fact that once I seal it, how do I get liquid inside of it? Well, the back of this tube thing here has a little nubbit that came designed, so I do have a silicone plug that I gotta wedge in there when it's done. But for the most part, that's how I'm gonna add liquid, so it's not gonna be like sealed, you know what I mean? All right, folks, painter tape is on. There's no do-overs. We're just freaking going. All right, so that's step one. Where's my go-ahead pencil stick here? My hand was in the way the entire time. That makes things annoying. I apologize. But again, no do-overs. All right. I'm concerned. We're taking the tape off. We're going to let it goop on the table because I feel like there's pressure building up underneath the ring, so it's not settling properly. I think that is going to be good. Pencil. Hands are a little bit nasty, but that's okay. I hope my hand was not in the way the entire time again. And press. Wonderful. Okay, that's on there. It's gooping out the sides as I thought it would. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. All right, well, that was chaos in a nutshell. It kind of rolled across the table, putting goop everywhere. But that's cleaned up now, and it is safely secured in our clamp. So this is going to sit for a couple days. That way everything balances out. And then I'm going to go ahead and do another line of goop on the outside here to properly seal it fully. And then we should be 100% completed with the reservoir, at least for the sealing process. Just general shout out to basically, filming stands and general vice clamps. If you're a crafter and you don't got clamps or vices, just go ahead and get them. They're going to make your life so much easier. And that's where I'm going to wrap it up for this week's episode, folks. I know we didn't do a whole lot of progress. It seems half the stuff that I printed over the week was trash and need to be thrown out anyway. So I got to reprint things. That reservoir needs to cure for a very long time. I think I'm going to let it sit for 3 weeks. So just because it has that one hole, that's all it has for ventilation. I don't want to risk putting water in it while it's still uncured. So it's going to get proper amount of time. I'm not going to rush it. I'm just going to let it sit and just not worry about it. Next episode, I think we might work on the actual mixture for the liquid that goes inside of it, because I still got that other secondary reservoir that I can use for just inherent measurements. So we can probably get something mixed up, decent looking, and then just fill it in when the time comes. So until next time, folks.